Hi, everybody. Welcome to Friday with Fustini's. It is May 29th. So last week on the 22nd, which happened to be our 12th anniversary of the business and 60 days for store closings, last Friday we opened our northern Michigan stores, Traverse City and Petoskey, and have been happy to see some of you in the stores. We look forward to seeing more of you in the Holland and Ann Arbor stores, which are opening up, continue to run curbside service, and then are starting to open up for appointment only. And some of those appointments can be made right at the door, particularly in Holland. So great to connect with you. Today we've got a fun schedule of summer recipes, and then a little surprise in the middle of this. Denise in Holland is gonna show you from 2 oil and vinegar pairings, 2 summer salad dressings for each of those pairings. And then I'm going to show you something that that my daughter Mallory does with kale salad. So I'm going to turn it over to Denise in Holland to get roaring.
Hi, Jim. Thanks. So I've got my screen set so you can see my board. So I've got 2, I couldn't decide. I have 2 delicious recipes that use these 3 products. So I figured I would make both of them. So the first one is a lettuce wrap with turkey and then a ginger honey rice. And then the second one is more like a broccoli coleslaw with a ginger honey dressing. And so let's get started. So right now I have some ground turkey that's sauteing in a little bit of the lemon olive oil. First I put my onions in there, sauteed those up, and then I added my ground turkey. And we're cooking that, and it's just about done. So to that, I'm going to add a little bit of the ginger honey balsamic, and that will help deglaze the pan as well. Give it some nice flavor. Pick up all those bits that have stuck to the bottom of the pan. And then to that, I'm going to add a little bit of soy sauce. And finish it with a little bit of the sesame oil. I think is one of my favorite. It's one of the most unique flavors that we carry. So we're just going to mix that, and it's easy because I can just do it all in one pan. Makes it very easy. So let me move this to the side. So how we're going to plate it, and it's just this easy. So the recipe calls for Bibb lettuce. Meyer did not have Bibb lettuce. So I've just got some smaller pieces of romaine. You're going to start with your rice. So when I was cooking my rice, just before it is done, I added about 2 to 3 tablespoons of the ginger honey. And what that does is gives it just a nice flavor to the rice. So we're going to put a little bit of that in the bottom. Fill that all up. And I'm just making a few. I'm not making the whole recipe because especially with 4 recipes and 3 people living here, that'll be a lot of food for dinner. So I've got my rice in there, and now I'm going to take my ground turkey and put that in there. And as I'm putting these together, it reminds me, we had somebody ask, why not all of our recipes have photos? And that's because we recently updated our website so we can have photos on our recipes. However, not all of my recipes, all the recipes have photos. So if you ever happen to be making them, I would love to give you photo credit and use your photo if we don't have that. So we've got our meat on there, and then I'm just going to garnish with a little bit of mint and a little bit of cilantro. So I'm just going to roughly chop this up. Wow, you can really smell that. Put that all on there. We're going to do a little bit of red chili flakes, especially if you like heat. And then just to make it look pretty, I'm just going to do a little bit of diced up red pepper. Oh, this one didn't get cut up very well. That would be considered a rough chop, or rustic chop. I think that's what Andy referred to it as. Alrighty, so this would be one recipe that uses the flavor profile of those 3 ingredients. Real easy, you can just pick them up like this and enjoy them. So that's number 1. And actually that recipe is on the website, but you can also find it in this cookbook. So for the second one, it's a version of a broccoli coleslaw. So in here, I've got just my broccoli slaw, just the bag from the store. And then for just a couple minutes, maybe I won't. I thought this pan would work on here, and it's not. So we will go to plan B. Let's see if this one does. Nope. Okay. So I guess it wouldn't be like, you know, a Fustini show without a little blooper issue. Anyway, so what I was going to do is I was going to saute up my ramen just to give it a little brownish. And then in here, I've got some pine nuts and sesame seeds. So I was going to stick those in a little bit of the Meyer lemon olive oil, and just to give them a nice rough browning before adding that to my salad. So I'm going to add my green onions that I actually cut on a really sharp diagonal, which just gives it a nicer look to it. And then basically you're just going to make your dressing, which is going to be some of the Meyer lemon, olive oil. And for this dressing, if you have maybe the spicy Korean, that would be a good substitute for the ginger honey. Persian lime would be another good one that you could substitute. And then I'm going to add just a touch of this sesame oil as well, because it's really strong. A little salt and pepper. Put the lid on securely. And then we're going to drizzle this on my salad. And we'll just mix this up. And we will plate it. Now, I will, after this, take my ramen and my nuts and saute them to give them the brown, and then I'll just put that as a finish over top. So let me just check my recipe. Anything else? A little bit of cilantro. So I do have that. So we'll just put a little bit of cilantro on there. And that will be salad number 2.
Awesome, Denise. Barry checked in to see what was for dinner tonight.
I'm sure he's going to love that it's all salad.
That's super. Hey, I want to introduce a couple people here that I'm quarantining with. These are my ginger and honeys. Ginger and honey from the Ginger and Honey Balsamic Vinegar. These are my two daughters, Kathy. Oh my gosh. Katie, Catherine, and Mallory. and I hope this looks familiar. There you go. So that's the ginger and honey from Fustini's. Katie, now known as Kathy, and Mallory. And so what we're going to do, this is a California kale with citrus, grapefruit dressing or salad that Mallory organized, and Katie's going to help put this thing together for you.
Thanks, John. John. So essentially what you start with is about 4 to 5 leaves of kale. Take them off the vein, chop them up, and give them a really good massage. Spas in most places are closed right now, so this is probably the closest you're going to get to a spa treatment, massaging your kale. Add half the dish of a lemon, olive oil, and salt, and just really get in there and honestly just give it a good massage. I would say do this right at the start of when you're preparing the salad so that it can sit while you prep the rest of your ingredients. Mallory already prepped the rest of our ingredients for us, which was very generous. So what we're going to do next is we are going to add in some fresh herbs. We like to add in some mint and some dill, but honestly, whatever you have available at the grocery store or in your fridge will work great. It would be great with basil. It would be great with some sliced scallions. We even sometimes like to put in shredded raw Brussels sprouts for a little crunch. But today we are doing dill and mint. So go ahead and put that in. Toss it around a little bit to make sure that every bite has some good herbs in it. And then after that, you will add some grapefruit supremed, which basically is just sectioned out of the grapefruit so that it's still in big chunks.
Looks good.
Yeah, it's really fresh. It adds a really bright flavor. You will also add some cubed avocado. We've got basically a whole avocado here, and we're lucky in California to have all this super fresh produce. And hopefully now that it's summertime, that will be coming to Michigan as well. So you add that and you give it another toss. I'm looking at Mel to make sure this is right. This is her salad.
But we've had it a couple times this week, right?
Yeah, we have it pretty much every day.
Yeah.
And then finally, you want to finish it with the other half of your lemon. So squeeze that on there on top.
Yeah.
Another drizzle of olive oil.
Fustini's, of course.
Obviously, the Arbequina is what we're using, but you could use any single varietal.
From Fustini.
From Fustini's. Some salt. And then some shaved Parmesan cheese on top. And that is it. It's beautiful. It's bright. It's citrusy. And I think you'll love it.
That's fantastic. Kathy, Katie, Catherine.
Yeah.
So that's we've had this probably once a week the last 4 or 5 weeks. It's super fresh and flavorful and really easy to make with the right ingredients. So have fun with that. Say goodbye to Ginger and Honey here.
Bye-bye.
Shout out to Nancy Stewart. I see she's on. Thanks.
Boom.
Yeah, thanks for coming in, Nancy. And back to Holland and Denise.
Thank you, Jim. So this is a twist on another recipe that Chef Andy was working on. So the recipe that's in, I think, the Taste of Summer cookbook calls for slices of watermelon, and then a slice of, or a leaf of basil, and then we slice fresh mozzarella. However, I just wanted to show you a different way that you can do it is by actually making skewers, which is really fun. You can actually use this maybe as an appetizer. I've taken it on some friends' boats before. So it's called tomato caprese. Watermelon caprese. So instead of using a tomato, you're using a watermelon. And if I'm right, I think Andy said it was because his daughter was not a fan of tomatoes. So he came up with this version for her. So shout out to Sam if you're watching. So I've just made a few here, and then very simple, you've just put them all on a skewer, and then I'm going to take some basil olive oil, and this does not have a top, and drizzle a little of that, and then a little bit of our Reserva, just to finish it off with a nice drizzle. So as you can see, I'll be making more. This will be great to maybe start dinner as a little appetizer beforehand, nice and fresh. The watermelon just makes it feel real summery. So we'll continue with that afterwards. Then for my last salad, move a few of these things out of the way. I'll need the basil again. So this is one of my family favorites. I usually will make a very large portion of this. It's also in that cookbook in the kitchen with Fustini's. It's called the Orzo market salad. Actually, an employee who used to work at the Holland store came up with this, and we make it all the time. So I start with some cooked Orzo in my bowl. And then normally you would use the piquois to cook up your chicken. Maybe if you're having grilled chicken the night before, you would just maybe grill up a little bit extra and save that, knowing if you're doing this. We actually had some rotisserie chicken left over, so I am just using that. So that's why I won't use, otherwise I would use the piquois to cook my chicken, but we're already cooked here. So I'm just cutting it up into smaller pieces. I'm putting it in my Orzo. Alrighty. And then to that, I am going to add an ear of corn. Now I believe the recipe says to cook your corn. However, I love it raw. And I don't know if it's just something with the creaminess of the pasta and the crunchiness of the corn, and then we're going to add some feta cheese. So that's just a whole lot of different flavors going on. So we're going to try on this plate to carefully cut off this corn. So yeah, you could cut it off or use frozen corn. I think with summer, you're going to have so much fresh corn that why not use that? So didn't make too bad of a mess. Now I did. All right, corn in. We'll grab this other corn. I did have somebody ask me about our cutting boards. I think Charlene was using one like this. They actually have Fustini's burned on it right here, the Fustini's logo. I think they're made up in Petoskey. And then right on this side is a made in Michigan logo. So I know most stores have the smaller version of these, but we can order the larger ones if you're ever interested. All right, was that a nice cover while I cleaned up my mess? So to this, we're going to add some small tomatoes. And then we're going to add some feta cheese. And then we're going to add the zest of a lemon. And then we're actually going to also add the juice from this lemon. So we'll put that in there. And then this is where I'll cut up some more basil. Get that in there. So to chiffonade, you just stack them and roll them, and then make little slice cuts, and it creates ribbons. We're going to add that to it. And then I'm going to add some basil olive oil. And if you didn't have basil, another one that works really well that I like with it is the Persian lime. So then I would probably, instead of zesting a lemon and juicing it, I would do that with a lime instead, and then use the Persian lime olive oil. So I'm going to put that in there. And then I've got a little bit of chive here. I'll chop that up. We'll put that on top. And then, oh, I think I was going to use this plate to plate it. Probably add a little salt and pepper if you want. However, since I was using some rotisserie chicken, that probably has a lot of salt in it. And then there's salt also in the feta cheese. So we're probably good. All right, let me just double check. So I make this recipe with pretty much with what I just have in the house. So yep, that's it. So this is called the Orzo market salad. So another great one to take on a picnic, take to the beach.
Wow.
This plate's mine tonight.
What does Barry get tonight?
He could probably, I don't know. He'll probably eat the turkey. So, and that one's also in this cookbook as well as online.
That was in the kitchen with Fustini's, the first book we did.
Yep. And then the watermelon caprese is in this one. So we were just cookbooking it up today.
And the links to those recipes are on our website now, right?
Yes. And actually, I think my production crew, also known as Ellie, will post them in the Facebook Live feed as well.
Okay, super. Thank you, Denise and Ellie. Back here to wrap up, just a couple things you'll find online. Each of these 2 oil and vinegar pairings that Denise used today for her 4 salads, you'll find them online under new items, shop new items at 15% off. Those will be available for 15% off until this time next week, which I guess is the 5th of June. Remember, when you order online in the store for curbside pickup, until we reinstitute tasting in the tasting rooms and you're unable to try new things, remember to add a complimentary bottle, 60 milliliter bottle, to your order. We're going to provide this to you, our customers, complimentary until we resume tasting, which trust me, we're working really hard on trying to figure out how to do that in this environment and keep everybody safe. I would encourage you to buy our Northern Hemisphere select oils, our Chilean Southern Hemisphere select oils. We have made the selection. They are on the water and probably will be in and available for sale end of July. So for all of you large olive oil, extra virgin olive oil consumers, you know, keep working on what we've got and look for something from us the end of July or so. And then finally, to wrap it up, to celebrate the 10-year anniversary of our Holland store on 8th Street, we've been running a donation campaign while the store's been closed on Facebook with Kids Food Basket to provide funding for this great organization to get meals to kids in need. Fustini's is matching every dollar that you donate on Facebook Live. The campaign period ends the end of the day on Sunday, and I am announcing here that Fustini's is going to double any contribution you make. So this is what the image looks like on our Facebook page. You can donate right there. Every dollar you donate, we're going to donate to between now and the end of the day, May 31st. We love these people, this program, and what they're doing. It's very complementary to what Fustini stands for, which is improving community health through diet and nutrition. So to wrap up, 2 things I'd like you to do. First thing, consider going to our Facebook page. You're on it now if you're watching, and donate to Kids Food Basket. And secondly, go on our website into shop and look for some of the great products and the discounts on the items that Denise showed today. Thank you to Denise. Thank you to my ginger and honey team, Katie and Mallory for her recipe, Ellie for her production assistance down there. And that's it for today. We look forward to seeing you next week. Have a great weekend.